Konnichiwa. Okay, so yes, I'm really behind on these updates. Um, but boy, I got to experience the good, the bad, and the ugly in this gap, which you'll understand has kind of really thrown me off why I've not done such a good job with the updates. But we'll get there. Okay, so the last video left us off, it's the early part of day 20. I was in Hakata. I had packed up, and I just needed to throw this last stuff in the bag and get to the train station to get my Shinkansen back to Kyoto. And, you know, body feels a bit recovered, not as close to getting sick as I had been. Kind of fought that cold off really well, but ended up with a lovely cough. And still just a bit of a drippy nose, but I get packed up and I'm heading to the train station, and I realize, okay, unless I'm going to like really run, I'm not gonna make this train. And I realized I'm not going to stress myself out over it because there's gonna be another one right behind it. And so I took my time, went up to the JR ticket office, got a ticket on the next train. That then gave me time to go and grab something to eat and go and wait for my train. I arrived in Kyoto, and I had some time before I was going to stay with Michiko. Michiko said I could stay with her coming back to Kyoto. I'm like, great, that'll help me save money. And it'll have me in Kyoto much closer to Kyoto Station for anything that I want to do. But she wasn't going to be home for a little bit, so I had to spend some time, and I was tired carrying these heavy bags. So I got some food, and I sat in front of the Mr. Donut. Got some food. I got a mixed sandwich and I think 4 donuts. That was my food. It was delicious. But then I followed the instructions that Michiko had given me as to what bus to get on, and I realized I got off the bus stop, and I was like, oh wait, I remember exactly where she lives from here. So I walked to her house and met her grandchildren. I think Hazia and Haya. But her grandson's 10, her granddaughter's 21. She wants to be a police officer, but she's studying right now to be, I think, a teacher in college. So I got to sit and talk with them, and Michiko brought out a lovely tea set with a special drink. It was, I thought, you know, she was bringing tea, but when I tasted it, it was very savory. It was like a broth. It's delicious. She brought out little sweets. And so I just got to enjoy hanging out there, and then she took me upstairs so I could get settled into my room. And then we had dinner. Michiko is a very, very gracious host. It was pretty amazing staying with her. But after dinner, went upstairs to get some work done and try and get some sleep. So Michiko said she would always provide breakfast. So wake up the next morning, 8 o'clock for breakfast. And every morning at 8 o'clock, Michiko will watch her the latest Japanese drama. It's on, I think it's just started this month in April, and it'll be on, I think, through September, but it's only 15 minutes a day, and it's from 8 to 8:15 every day except for Sunday. So, you know, we're sitting there watching the drama, and I'm looking at this actor, and I'm like, I recognize him. I know him. And I asked his name, and I went and looked him up, and I was like, yes, okay. He's the, any of you anime fans out there that watched Rurouni Kenshin, you know, the live action version. It's the best live action anime ever made. But the main actor, he's in this show. So that's why I recognize him, and then it turns out he's the reason that Michiko is watching it. She loves him. I don't blame her. He's really, really beautiful. But it's like he's playing a high schooler, but he's 29 years old. But he can still work it like that. He still looks that great. But you know, I sit and I talk with Michiko and her granddaughter after breakfast, and I found out that Michiko pretty much lives in this house by herself. Her son lives there. One of her sons lives there, but apparently he's been hospitalized long term for something, so he's not actually there. So she's in this house, except for when her grandkids are there, visitors. She's there by herself, and so she gets a bit lonely. So she likes having guests and visitors. So I ended up staying and talking with them until I had to get up and meet Maria at Kyoto Station. So I go to try and meet her, and the bus system here is the transit system is really on time. So I was surprised when standing at the bus stop and I see 11:37 the bus is supposed to come. No bus. I was like, okay, 11:46 the bus will come. No bus. And I'm trying to be on time meeting Maria at 12 o'clock. So I just take the next bus that comes, which isn't the one I was waiting for, but it turns out it's going to Kyoto Station as well. So I bet as soon as I got on that bus, there's two that I missed that didn't show up on time probably showed up at the same time. But anyhow, meet up with Maria on the backside of Kyoto Station, and we go have lunch at this mall right next to Kyoto Station, as if Kyoto Station wasn't a mall in and of itself. But because I had breakfast not that long ago, I wasn't too hungry. I just wanted something. And so I decided to check out KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't really eat Kentucky Fried Chicken in the United States. It's been a while. And it's usually not by my choice. I just stopped liking it a long time ago. But I figured let's see what KFC is like here. And I got their spicy chicken and their fried potatoes. And the potatoes were awesome. The chicken was okay. It wasn't spicy, but at least to me it wasn't spicy. It was very red, like it's supposed to be spicy, but didn't do much for me. But we ate at the mall. It's really fancy. I mean, some people, I walk by to go to the bathroom, and some people had those plates that they bring you out stuff from, like when they've cooked fajitas and they're still sizzling. People have, their trays with plates that are sizzling, and yeah, food courts in the mall are very different. Really, really awesome. Oh, and I also got a melon drink. It was delicious. But we were meeting there so that afterwards I could go to the gym with Maria to go try Zumba. Never done Zumba before. It's like, sure, I'll try it here in Japan, where I don't understand anything that's happening. I'll just follow along. So I did the Zumba class, and I thought we were done, but no, turns out there's also a pop dancing class. So I had to went to that one too. Yeah, I came away from that realizing I need to get back into dance. Not only was I just whooped, I was tired, because I haven't done any like real physical exercise in so long, but my brain is no longer able to just like quickly pick up choreography like I used to. So I need to get back in there and get my brain trained again. But it was great because then after that we were able to go to you're done, you go and you relax, and they have these amazing devices that, one of them you put your legs on it. It's like this big rotating kind of thing that's got ridges on it. It massages your legs and whatever muscles you lay over it. It was really awesome. And then there's another one, you go and you stand on it and you lean over, and it'll vibrate your feet, so everything up in your body vibrates and shakes, and I don't know, helps you stretch out things. I don't know, that felt great too. Both things would be like, these would be interesting to have at home. But from there, went into the attached Sento and sauna, so the baths. Got to take the lovely shower and do the hot cold a couple times before I had to hurry up and get dressed because I had to get back to Michiko's house by 6 o'clock for dinner. And so I get dressed and we leave at 5:30. Yay, just in time. So I'm trying to get back to Kyoto Station to catch the bus 2:05 to go to her house. But between the gym, which is down the street from Kyoto Station, so between the gym and Kyoto Station, I'm standing at an intersection. I see bus 205 pull up, half a block down. I'm like, is that the right bus? And I asked somebody. They're like, yes, that's the right bus. So great, I'll go get on the bus early. And the bus goes and makes it back to Kyoto Station. But I'm realizing, wait, this isn't the same place that I got on the bus 205 before. And I'm sitting right behind the map of the bus, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah, this definitely goes to the bus stop. I see the bus stop right there. But I didn't realize that it's going the opposite way of the circuit. So instead of like 6 or something stops in, going to the bus stop in front of Michiko-san's house, instead it's going to take me the long way around. And it'll be one of the last stops made. And I'm like, okay, it's a little before 6 o'clock now. So I've already missed my deadline, and I'm going the wrong direction. So I ended up getting off the bus and then decided, instead of waiting for another bus that I didn't know how long it was going to take it to arrive and then get me over to her place, I decided to take a taxi. So I tell him the name of the bus stop, Nana Jones Senbon. He's like, yes, that's where I want to go. And so he goes and drives me over there. And he tells me that, we've arrived at Nana Jones Senbon. And I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't recognize this. Are you sure? He's like, yes, this is that bus stop. It's like, okay. So I got out and I'm standing there and I'm like, no, this isn't the right place. And this is the second time that my charger isn't working with my phone. So, yeah, my phone just is dead. My phone's dead. It's been plugged into the charger, but it's not charging it. So that was lovely to stand there and realize I don't know where I am. And I mean, it wouldn't have been so bad except that I'm already late. And so I kind of decided, well, let me figure out if I can get another taxi. Finally get another taxi, and I tell him where I want to get off, and he's like, well, it's kind of back over this way. And I'm like, okay. So I'm actually not far from it. I just need to walk. I just need to pick, do I go left or right, and keep walking. So I'd only just keep walking back behind me. And I start walking that direction, and I stop a police officer, and I ask him, and he tells me to keep going the way I'm going. And sure enough, end up right at the bus stop. The taxi driver let me off one stop away from where it is, but I couldn't see it. There's a slip from where I was standing. Anyway, I eventually get there, and they changed the reservation for dinner at the conveyor sushi place that we were going to. So we end up walking over to Sushi Roll. That's the name of the place. This place is packed, and apparently if you don't have a reservation, you're going to wait 45 minutes to an hour, which is what most of the people in the waiting area were doing. But we had a reservation, so we only were supposed to wait 10 minutes, but it actually ended up being just 5. This conveyor sushi place functions, similarly to the one I'd been to at Kyoto Station, but there's a touch screen at every table, and so you can go through and order what you want. You can have it in English or other languages, and figure out what it is that you want, and you can order it, and it'll send it around, and it'll give like a little doorbell chime type thing when your food's coming, so to pull it off the conveyor. But then you can also just pull the things that are randomly going by. We got a lot of food. I can't eat as much as I used to, and I would really have to be careful eating with my fellow Japanese, because they end up eating so much more than me, and they'll end up putting things in front of me, and I'm trying to finish it, and yeah, they'll definitely fatten me up if I'm not paying attention. But ate some delicious food with Michiko and her granddaughter, and had a great time. And then we walk back, and I go to sleep. Okay, so day 22, wake up, have breakfast. I have some time before I'm going to go to Osaka, so I'm just sitting and talking with Michiko about things, and sharing with her about Airbnb. After going through the conversation, I realized she actually knows what it is, because she had been signed up on Airbnb. A German friend of hers had set her up on Airbnb, and she'd had people staying with her, but apparently the city came out and inspected her place and said that she wasn't eligible for Airbnb because her house is pretty much wood, and so it doesn't meet their standards for Airbnb, so she can't list her house on Airbnb, which is interesting because another place that I stayed at last year in Kyoto, that place was pretty much wood, and it's an Airbnb. But anywho, so she can be a host family for a student, I guess, if they're staying longer term, but she can't do the short-term vacation rentals with Airbnb. However, she can do the experiences on Airbnb. If you've ever used it and you've seen those on there. Michiko studied for 20 years and then spent 20 years teaching traditional Japanese singing. The really hard stuff. And so it's like, okay, let's figure out how you can use that, and we can put you up on Airbnb for experiences, and she can have fun and make some money so she can travel more and just enjoy her retirement more. But we sat and talked for a while, and do what I can to help in that arena. If I ever get it figured out, I'll let you know. And then I went down to Osaka. I had an appointment down there, but I also wanted to go on a hunt for that hat. And it's so funny because I went through so many places in Osaka, and I was like, okay, I went to a hat store last year. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I'm going to try and find it, because last year I picked this hat up off the shelf, put it on my head, and it was a perfect fit. And I have this little tiny little child-sized head. So maybe this hat shop will carry this hat in multiple sizes, because I see this hat everywhere. It's in almost every hat store, but they're all too big. They all do now one size. So one size fits all, which is obviously way too big for my head. I found a store that actually had a small, and it was still way too big for my head. But I actually found the shop from the year before. They no longer carry the multiple sizes. Everybody's got the one size. So I figured maybe if I can find a fancier hat shop. So I was like, I'll just wander around some more. But there was also Rikuro's cheesecake. That's one of the things that they said, if you're in Osaka, you got to get this cheesecake. And after looking for it, turns out it's right across the little, I guess, street from the hat place that I was desperately trying to find. But anywho, I realized after all of my searching that I'm not going to find what I'm looking for. I'm gonna have to figure out how to maybe look it up online and see if I can get this hat. Apparently it's made in Korea, but I've got a mission. I went to Tokyo Hands, had a blast, bought some more things. I bought some paper because I wanted to make some gifts for Michiko and Maria and Kiku. The thank you gift for them spending time with me, and particularly a gift for Michiko for hosting me for 6 days. So I went and got some awesome paper at Tokyo Hands. And then I made my way back over to the cheesecake place. I had the cheesecake made and finished right in front of me. It was awesome. I videotaped it. It's like I paid for it, but there weren't any ready. So as soon as they came out of the oven, they unwrapped it, branded it, handed it to me. I was like, awesome. It was still hot. I decided I needed to make my way back if I wanted to share this cheesecake for dinner with Michiko, try and catch her before she goes to sleep. And so I make my way back to Kyoto Station, and I wanted some food, and I was looking for something in particular, so I went to the convenience stores right there at Kyoto Station, and got some food. I couldn't find what I was looking for initially, and so I grabbed a couple other things, and then I went to another convenience store and found exactly what I was looking for. So I got that and headed back, and but I walked in, and as far as I could tell, Michiko was asleep. So I just put the cheesecake upstairs and then went and ate in my room. And then come to find out, Michiko was just in her room. She didn't realize I was home until she saw my shoes out by the door. So we had made plans for the next day. Kiku was going to buy some bento boxes and bring them over for dinner. So she was going to come have dinner with us. And so we said our goodnights, and I went upstairs. I was going to try and get started and make some of these boxes, and try and do a recap video, as well as load up the recap video that I had done the morning before at in Hakata But that's when this trip got really interesting. I ended up with food poisoning. The food that I got at that one convenience that were the items I wasn't looking for. I didn't really enjoy them as I was eating them. One was like a shrimp wrap, and the other was like a ham and cheese wrap or something. I didn't enjoy them as I was eating them, and I really did enjoy them later. I was up all night. This is how day 23 goes. Up all night. My body was in mass evacuation mode. It was like anywhere anything can be expunged, we are going to do this, and we are going to make it miserable. I can't even tell you how many times I threw up when there was nothing left. I had plans the next day to go with Kiku to go look for Shakyo supplies, and I'm realizing I'm not going to make this. I can't do it. So I'm texting her and Kiku in the middle of the night to let them know that I'm sick, so I'm just going to need to stay in, but maybe she can still come over for dinner, since, she already had the bento boxes. And I tried drinking water, couldn't hold down water. Tried eating ice. I can eat ice if I just suck on it. But after enough water from the ice is collected in my stomach, I'm going to throw up again. So they decided I needed to go to the doctor. If I'd been at home, I would have just, waited it out. But here they're like, no, you need to go to the doctor. She said the clinic's not far. We can go there, but we have to go before noon because that's when they close. So she let me lay down for a little bit. And then she said that she called a friend of hers. She called a friend at work. Her friend left work, came and got us, and drove us the 2.5 blocks to the doctor's office that I would not have been able to walk. And I get there, and before we leave, I got traveler's insurance this time around. After injuring my foot last year, I was like, I'm not playing around. Let's get the traveler's insurance. It's like $40-something. So glad that I did. So I called to make sure I understood how things worked. If I go to this clinic, I just pay up front and they'll reimburse me. If it turns out I need to be hospitalized, then I can, they can try and coordinate with the hospital for direct payment so that I didn't have to spit out any money. So it's like, okay, pay up front. Well, just had my bag, grabbed my bag and left, and had my wallet in there, the wallet I've been using here in Japan. And so I get to the clinic, and I sit down, and Michiko kind of wants me to just rest my head, and once they realize that I need to sleep, they walk me over to a bed back in the back corner and let me lay down there. So I sleep until the doctor comes, and, we're trying to describe what my symptoms are. And they decide to put me on an IV drip, a 90-minute IV drip, because I'm dehydrated. So I've had food poisoning. This is maybe the third time in 4 years. But it's never been this bad that I've actually had to get an IV drip because I was dehydrated. So while I'm laying there for the IV drip, I'm thinking, like, how much is this going to cost? My funds are running low. I'm getting paid soon, but my funds are running low. And so I decide to, while I'm laying there, pull up my phone and look at my balance on my credit card. It's like, okay, great. As long as it's not over this, I can handle it. So I relax and just let the IV drip work, and I end up feeling much better by the time it's done. And then he comes and brings me a sheet of paper that explains the medication that I need to take that they're sending me home with. And we get there like a little before 12 o'clock, so everybody just stayed to make sure I was okay. He stayed, the nurse stayed, the front desk person. Michiko left while I was doing the IV drip, and then she came back when the 90 minutes was up. And so as I sit up from the IV drip and I'm about to head to the front desk to pay, I realize I don't have my credit card. It's in my bag back in my room at Michiko's. And I'm realizing, okay, so most likely in the United States, just walking in the door at a doctor's office with the copay, it's going to be $50. And let's see, I don't even know how much a 90-minute IV drip is going to cost. Oh yeah, and then medication. They've already given me medication. I'm like almost in a panic. Like I don't have my credit card. I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I don't know how much it's going to cost, and I'm trying not to freak out because I don't want to have to ask Michiko to have to shell out any money for me. That just doesn't seem right. And so the guy, I walk up to the desk and he slides the bill out in front of me, and it's 5,260 yen. And I did a little happy dance on the inside. It's basically like $52. I had that in my wallet. I had the exact amount in my wallet. Yay, Japanese healthcare system. Yay, a system that, everybody's taken care of. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice in the United States? All of that, roughly $53. So I was very happy about that. And Michiko's friend leaves work again, comes back, picks us up, and takes us back to her house. And Michiko makes me a meal that apparently they make anytime they've had a good case of the runs, or anytime they've kind of thrown up. So she makes me this very light meal, and I eat that and take corresponding medication, and then I go upstairs, go to sleep for a little while, then wake up trying to make one of the gifts for Kiku, to at least give her hers before she goes, but I can't finish it before she shows up. And we have dinner. She brings these beautiful bento boxes that she had purchased, and everything looks great, but I can't fathom the thought of eating it. So Michiko had made just for me, she boiled vegetables and rice, plain white rice, and I ate that and I enjoyed it, and pulled out the lovely cheesecake that I had bought, and I just wanted to taste. So they had their slices, and I just literally scraped the bottom of the paper that the cheesecake was on so I could taste it. I was like, oh yeah, that's nice, but I wasn't going to push it. Apparently you can reheat the cheesecake, just like I guess we do Krispy Kreme donuts, but you can reheat it for like 30 seconds and have it like it's hot out the oven. We didn't end up doing that, but we just sat around and we talked and we laughed and had a great time. I really enjoy these ladies. And then I went to sleep and then tried to wake up and make some more gifts, and just back and forth, sleep, wake. So then, day 24, I wake up and I have breakfast. It's trying to eat the bento from the night before as much as I can, as well as the fruit that Michiko has cut up for me. She has been so awesome and amazing that I invited her to come out to Atlanta. I'll take care of you, we'll hook you up, have a great time. She's just been wonderful. I was like, yes, she's like my Japanese mother, which would make my mother feel much better knowing that I was sick, because I called my parents before I went to the doctor. And so then I had to call my mother that morning to let her know that I was okay, so that she could go to sleep, restfully knowing that her daughter's okay on the other side of the world. So Michiko has to leave for the day. She's got an appointment, and she looks really nice. Apparently, grandmother's here. Michiko apparently dresses a little flashy and with some flair and style. Very colorful, and she looks amazing. But apparently, she said here in Japan, grandmothers are supposed to, wear the dark colors and, be frail and sickly and, old ladies. And she's like, she doesn't like those clothes. I mean, the clothes she wears, like my mom would love. I mean, she looked amazing. She'd fit right in the U.S. But she leaves, and so I go upstairs and I get to work on these gift boxes. And so I'm just hanging out up there until she gets back, and we have dinner with her grandson. She made an awesome meal with the fish. It was just, everything's incredible. She's a great cook, and everything always looks like picture perfect. She's amazing. And she also, one of her students that she teaches the Japanese traditional singing to, she comes to her house so that I can talk to her. She wanted to have a chance to practice her English, as well as she works at a business hotel, so she wanted to know what they could do to cater to Westerners. So I was just trying to help her understand, like, what are the standard things we have in our hotels, and what things might they ask for if they come to the front desk. So I met another wonderful Japanese person. And everybody I've been talking to, it's like, oh, get your contact information online. You know, if you have any questions, let me know. It gives us both a chance to practice each other's language. So I got to eat some of this cheesecake, and it's really good. It's just so light and soft, and yeah, it was pretty amazing. And then Michiko brought over some after dinner snacks, and I just had a wonderful night. It was a beautiful day that day, and it would have been nice to go outside, but Michiko and Kiku would have had my head if I had even stepped foot outside that door. They're like, you're not doing anything, you're not allowed to work, you just rest today. So I followed their instructions and just stayed in. I went upstairs after dinner and stayed up to finish the gift boxes, and I decided I'm up this late, I might as well pack. So I was getting everything organized, and it's about 4 in the morning, and I go downstairs to the kitchen, and so I'm on the 3rd floor. The kitchen, living room are on the 2nd floor, and Michiko's down on the bottom floor, and where the shower and everything is. And she didn't know that I was up, and because I was trying to be really quiet, because she would have fussed at me if she'd known I was up this late at night. But I'm in the kitchen, and I hear her come out of her room, and well, we kind of had an Unkin moment. My family will know what this means. Kind of had an Unkin moment where I'm like not moving, trying not to make a sound, to let her have some peace in the middle of the night, and it was another long wait. And then just the time to, like, okay, has she gone back to sleep? Because I didn't want to frighten her like I did Unkin. So just went upstairs finally, and I had enough time to get everything packed and go to sleep. So I slept for like 2 hours, and then I wake up, you know, put my last minute things back in the bags, sit down and write my notes for all these videos I have to do to keep track of how each day has been going. And then go and have breakfast with Michiko, and then we both leave to go to Kyoto Station. I'm meeting Kiku and Maria at Mr. Donuts, and Michiko is meeting a friend of hers, so we all got to sit for a little bit. I had to go get my ticket for the Shinkansen to make it back to Tokyo. And Kiku had said the night before that because this is Golden Week, apparently it's like national week of just week-long holiday, so it's a lot of travel. And so she said that most of the Shinkansens were sold out, and I was like, oh no, because I was going to go on Saturday and get my Shinkansen tickets and reserve my seats, but I was sick. So I got there early so I could, you know, drop my bags off at Mr. Donuts so that Kiku could sit with them while I go and stand in this long line and hope that I can get a ticket. I leave my bags. I go down to the JR office. There's only 4 people in front of me. There's hardly anybody in there. And I immediately go up and I get my tickets. So it wasn't as difficult as she thought it might be. So I came back upstairs in like less than 10 minutes, so they were shocked to have a chance to see me and sit down and talk. And so we got to talk for a while before Michiko had to go meet her friend. And she eventually came back and brought her friend up so I could meet her. And then she leaves and Maria finally makes it. So I'm able to see her, and I had given everybody their gifts that morning. I'd given Michiko her gift before I left, really large box, and the smaller ones for Kiku and Maria. And so got to say my goodbyes to everybody that morning, and then go and get on my train to Nagoya. I am going to Nagoya. One, I just wanted to stop there, but I actually had a reason to. Last year, after I got back from my first trip in Japan, I went to Japan Fest in Atlanta. Awesome festival. It's always like around September 20th. I remember because that's my mother's birthday. But it's always around then at Gwinnett Arena. And so I went last year, and I'm sitting down. I go by myself. I mean, I want to go, so I don't care if I go by myself. But I was sitting down to eat, and I hear this guy sitting next to me talking with a bunch of people in Japanese, this young guy. And so I struck up a conversation with him. Apparently he had just come back from Japan. Young guy in his 20s, young white guy. And so we struck up a conversation, and so we exchanged information online. And so I just sent him a message to let him know who I was. And I didn't hear from him again for months. I guess he finally looked at mine. He was like, "Oh, from Japan." I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Okay, so we'll just kind of, randomly keep in touch." Well, when I arrived in Japan, I sent him a message online saying that I was back. And he replies back that, oh, he's coming back 2 days after me. He's coming back to work again for another 6 months. And he's going to be in Nagoya. It's like, okay, well, I wanted to see Nagoya anyway, so I coordinated with him to meet him at Nagoya. And so that's why I made my stop there. I was meeting him at noon, so I got in just in time. And this is when going to Kyoto Station that morning was when I realized just what it meant to be trying to travel for Golden Week. I mean, it's crazy, people everywhere. So then getting off in Nagoya and trying to find a coin locker to put my things in was really difficult. All the coin lockers are just all full. So I found another coin locker area, and I walk up just in time. I see this man standing in front of one that's got a green light, which means it's open. It's like, "Can I use it?" He was like, "Yes." So I put my stuff in, except only one of my bags can fit. And they're both heavy. Neither one of them are ones to just go explore the city carrying around. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. And that man that had been standing in front of mine, turns out I'm watching, and he's talking with the guy, I guess one of the attendants for the coin lockers. Apparently he had left his ticket that you need to open your locker back. He actually put it inside the locker, so the man had to open it for him so that he could take his stuff out. And as soon as I noticed that, I was like, "Can I use that one too?" And it was like, "Yes." Okay, I shoved my bag in there, even though there was someone else standing there waiting. I was like, I can't leave one of two bags. I felt really bad, but I was also running late, and I was like, somebody will come back within the next couple minutes, hopefully, and empty one of these lockers so that somebody else can use it. But I got both my bags in there. But I realized in doing that I had to use my last 1,000 yen. I had no money left. And I needed to use that 1,000 yen appropriately, just so that I could even take rapid transit when I get to Tokyo out to where I'm staying. So I'm realizing I'm in Nagoya with no money. And my money's not going to hit until, this is on Monday. Yeah, my money wasn't going to hit until sometime on Tuesday. So I felt kind of bad. I'm like, I'm going to meet up with this guy that I don't really know, and I can't really do anything. So we're going to meet at Nagoya Tower, and I get there early. I get there on time, but early in comparison to him. He had forgotten that it was Golden Week, and so everything was on, all the buses were on holiday schedule. So it took him a while, about an hour, to get to Nagoya. And, he immediately spots me, and, I kind of just let him know what's going on with my trip, and I let him know I don't have any money, so, I can't really do much. And he's like, "No problem, I'll buy you lunch." Awesome. So we walk around trying to find where to go eat, and that ends up taking a while. And we end up stopping at this place. I still don't know what type of food it was, but of course it was delicious. And had a great time talking to him. He's there teaching English. And, loves being in Japan. Loved it so much he almost doesn't want to tell anybody else about it, because he doesn't want a bunch of other gaijin and a bunch of other foreigners coming and making it not as special for him. He likes being a spot in the crowd, the one that sticks out. And I'm like, well, that's me every day, so it's not a new thing for me. But it was great. Had a great lunch, and he bought lunch, and then he was nice enough. He gave me 2,000 yen so that I could make it through until my money hits. That's very kind. Totally unexpected. and it was just awesome because that money came in very, very handy, because it did take some work for my money to hit my account. But he had to leave to go to work, and so I had, I left myself about an hour and a half before my train. Actually, no, 2 hours before my train, so I could wander around that area of Nagoya. And apparently it's Indonesia week in Nagoya, in that area, so there was a festival that was happening. So I mean, there was definitely a different ethnic population in Nagoya. There were the women with the head coverings, and I don't know if they were also connected to the Indonesia Fest, but it was interesting to see another culture celebrating in Japan. And so then I just wandered around, got some nice pictures, went to Oasis 21, which is this right next to Nagoya Tower. It's hard to explain. The lower area is like a play area for kids, but above it is like reflective pool that's, you walk up to this thing and it's an observation deck or something, and a garden and a park. Not a garden, a park. It's really cool. But when I was up at the top and I'm walking over the whole thing, it's making me feel very uncomfortable because I can feel it kind of sway a little. And it's way too high up for me to feel comfortable. So I go down to the park area and I sit and relax for a little while until I make it back to Nagoya Station to, catch my Shinkansen and try to find these coin lockers. I just got kind of turned around. And I guess my rule now is I only get Krispy Kreme in Japan, because that's the last time I had it last year was here. And I saw Krispy Kreme at Nagoya Station, so okay, I'll get that, and went around, found some milk, and found my locker, and I'm rushing so that I can just barely make it to my train in time, only to realize all of the trains are late, which is a rarity here in Japan. I mean, these suckers are on time, but all the trains were late. But in my rushing, I started to not feel so great, and then it made me realize I forgot to take my medication with my meal, and so I'm like, okay, let me try and take it now with this Krispy Kreme, but it didn't seem to really help with the nausea. The medication I need to take ahead of time stops the nausea, and I waited way too long. So I was nauseous through my train ride to Tokyo, and then trying to figure out how to get from Tokyo to where I'm staying. End up going, when they give you a train time, and you just go to that track and you see another train that looks exactly the same and it comes a little earlier, don't just get on that one. I learned my lesson. I got on the train that seemed to come earlier. Turns out it was an express train, and it was great. It hit every stop I needed to until it was getting to the last one, or I needed to get off, but it skipped that one. And I figured that out a little too late. So it took me a little while to get back around to where I was going and make it out to here to where I'm staying. And it was just nice to put my bags down, and she gave me a cup of ice so that I could just kind of slowly deal with the nausea and just relax and meet the family. It's a lovely married couple with their 2 children, and they have a French student that is staying with them. She's studying Japanese. So I sat and talked with them for a while and had a lovely, lovely night, just bringing my body back down to normal. And I came up here to just try and wait out them taking a shower. Before I took one, ended up just falling asleep because my body was tired and I'd done a lot. So I just fell asleep. And then yesterday, day 26, I wake up, she provides breakfast. So I go and have breakfast. I have an 11 o'clock appointment in Shinjuku, so I'm trying to make sure I get there in time. I make my appointments very short, and I leave, and I'm like, okay, so I have something at 3:20, but until then, I'm free, and it's like 11:30. So I went and found a grocery store not far from where I was at. I got a bunch of fruit and some easy things, and then went and walked right across the street from the grocery store to a park, and I sat in the park and I ate my fruit and I read and I relaxed for like 3 hours, and then I finally make my way over to my 320, which is the robot restaurant. The same friend that got this spark going in me with Japan years ago suggested I go to the robot restaurant. So like, okay, I'll go to the robot restaurant. I got tickets to go before my first leg in Tokyo earlier, but with a 28% discount on prices. But that booking was full, so they ended up changing my reservation to May 1st. So I make my way to the robot restaurant, and it is just lights and colors, just, I mean, it is just like your eyes are just popping. There's so much craziness. Just walking in the building, going up to the lounge area where you can get your drinks and get some food before the show. And, you know, it's got a robot band playing, and it was just really a visual spectacle before the show even starts. And I'm not really sure what this show is. I just know there's robots. And a Swedish lady ends up sitting next to me. Her name's Molly. And we end up talking. And, you know, she's not exactly sure what's going to happen either. So we're just going to wait and see what happens. And let me tell you, that show started. I have found my second favorite thing in Japan. Number one, I'm on Hashidate. Number two, the robot show, the robot restaurant. It is awesome. It's so incredible. Oh my goodness. If I could go every week, I would. It's so incredible. There's a reason that it was just packed full of gaijin and just foreigners. It's because people are like, if there's one thing you can do in Tokyo, go to the robot restaurant. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for that suggestion. Yes, that was awesome and amazing. And it's a long show. And yes, I will be back. If any of you ever come to Japan, go to the robot restaurant. It's so worth it. But because of having such a good time in that show, it's like my energy reserves got refilled. I had so much energy, I felt great. It's like, okay, this is one of my last days here in Japan. I love walking, and I haven't really enjoyed or explored any area, so let's go do this. So I decided to go to Harajuku, because one of the videos I saw of things to do is to go to Harajuku and get this big old massive cotton candy, rainbow cotton candy. I had seen it last year when I was there, but I didn't get it. But I was like, I'll get it. I've been wanting cotton candy for a while, but I don't, in the United States, I've been wanting it for at least a year or so, but you can't just find a cotton candy machine. It's always in the bag, or it's vacuum sealed, and it's all condensed, and, you know, it's not like real cotton candy, and I want like light and fluffy. So I go and get the cotton candy, and it's either the combination of the food coloring that goes with it, or just my taste buds have changed, but it felt like I was licking the inside of a chemical bottle. It was horrible. All I could taste was chemicals. But I was like, I got this. I'm going to finish it. I'm not going to waste it, because I don't even know where I could go and just like subtly. They don't really have trash cans because they recycle. So I was like, there's nowhere I can just kind of shove this thing to get rid of it. It's like, I'll eat it. I wanted this. And I think it is mostly food coloring, because there is a section in there that the color, whatever it was, didn't taste like chemicals. It tasted like what I expected of cotton candy, just sugar. But I finished that, and I decided, okay, I walked around Harajuku for a while. I want to go to Akihabara. I want to go be surrounded by anime. I want to go see if I can find some manga. So then I found a manga cafe, and I kind of went the wrong direction to get there, but I eventually made it and realized, oh, so basically this is internet cafes like they're talking about, where you go and you can stay the night. It's a cheap way to spend the night. And I was like, I'll just do 30 minutes. So I just sat and I charged my devices and did some reading. I walked around to look at the titles, but, you know, of course everything's in Japanese. I wouldn't even know where to look or where to begin. And the place smelled horrible, because I'm assuming that they have smokers in there. I don't know if they still allow smokers, or if it's just years of just it having used to allow smoking. I don't know. I was happy to leave after 30 minutes. And I went to Yodobashi because at Akihabara Station, because I wanted to get one of those massage chairs. And it says the massage chair is like one session is 15 minutes. I think it's actually 30 minutes, because I had an awesome time in that massage chair, and it went a lot longer than 15 minutes. And then I went and did a little shopping. I had to get gifts for a certain someone. And then I made my way back to here where I'm staying. Got to say hello for a little bit when I got back, and then just ate. I stopped at a convenience store, a 7-Eleven near the bus stop here, and got some food. Back to the things that I already know and already like. I'm not going to stop eating at the convenience. I'm just not going to eat things that don't make me feel comfortable or don't look enticing. But I came back, ate, showered, and slept. And now this is my last full day here in Japan, but I wanted to make sure I did this video and get this uploaded and everything organized. It's gonna rain today, but I gotta go out and get in it and just enjoy myself while I'm still here. Got things to do before I go. Okay, hope you enjoyed this recap video. I know it's really long, but it's 7 days. 7 days worth? Yes. I'll be doing 2 more before I go. I'll make sure and get those done on time. Okay, thanks. Bye.